In a fair economic system, we would pay the people by their value to the society. But that's not what's going on here. What we learned during this pandemic is who is really essential. And it's not the Fortune 500 executive. It's the person stocking the shelves at the grocery store. It's the nurses and those providing home care. Yet while executive pay has surged and the pay for health aides is so low it's threatening home health care, something millions of Americans rely upon. And this is personal to me. I'm sure it's personal to many of you at home who in the past year during this pandemic had to have difficult conversations with caretakers. Fundamentally, this is a dynamic that has to be changed. And joining me now to talk about it and what we can do is April Verrett. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me, Zerlina. I really appreciate it.
So why is home care such an undervalued profession? We're all going to get older if we are lucky, right? Everyone needs care. Workers right now are collectively not deciding to go back to work because the wages just aren't enough. Like, how do we make it so that they are paid what they are worth and what their value truly is?
Well, quite frankly, home care workers are underpaid because they are predominantly women and they are predominantly women of color. We know that the millions of home care workers in this country, 67% of them are women of color. 3 in 10 are immigrants. And the reality is the work of taking care of our elderly, of taking care of people living with disabilities has always been the work of women. And historically, it's been the work of Black women. They made slaves do it, right? Slave women did this work. And so since the beginning of the economic conditions in this country, they have exploited the work of women. And so we continue to see that legacy live on now in the 21st century, where they continue to pay less than the value that this work really has.
One of the things I think is fascinating to watch in this moment is as everything starts to reopen, you see workers all over the country in all different industries saying, I'm not coming back unless you pay me more money. Do you think that this moment is a moment where there's going to be more interest in joining unions? And explain for the folks at home listening, what is the role of a union in helping those workers push for those higher wages?
Sure. Well, I sure hope so. I think the numbers that we are seeing, right, hundreds of thousands of jobs go left without people to do them, is because Americans in this moment have accepted that they need to figure out what matters the most for them. And I think millions of workers in this country are no longer going to settle for less than they should earn, right? These jobs that were deemed essential during the pandemic, that people of color, that those working in poverty have always done in this country, it's just not good enough anymore. This country is in a gut check moment, and we're going to choose what type of country, what type of society we want to be. And either we're going to value workers, value all work, show that all work has dignity, or we're going to have to figure out how we get things done ourselves, how our grocery store shelves get stocked, how our streets get cleaned, how our buildings get cleaned and are kept secure, and dare I say, how our loved ones are taken care of. And we see more workers now than ever wanting to join together in a union. Because what a union is real simple. It's a person owning their own power, standing up and making a decision to exert that power and to do so collectively with other people who are making the same choice. And as an organizer who's been in the labor movement for over 20 years, there is nothing more beautiful than seeing the light bulb go on for a home care worker or a security guard who says, damn, I'm powerful and I'm going to stand up for what I rightfully deserve.
One of the things I've been thinking about as you watch Congress and the White House grapple with what to do about infrastructure, this is a really big package that has a lot of things in it, but one of the really critical pieces, and it's clear that there are women in this administration because the human infrastructure piece of the package is so crucial, and it's so different than what we've ever seen before. So funding for childcare, and part of this is because if home care aides are working to take care of our parents and the rest of us, then who is taking care of their kids while they are at work? Mm-hmm. And so do you think that all of these issues, ultimately are intimately connected?
It's absolutely, they're all related, interconnected. I am so proud that our president and our vice president has put together the American Jobs Plan that centers home care workers, that has earmarked a $400 billion investment for home and community-based services that will go to not just expand those who has access to paid and subsidized services for elders and people with disabilities, but it is also rightfully saying we have to pay these women a livable wage. We have to make sure there's a $15 wage floor. We have to make sure they have access to good family sustaining benefits, provide training so that they can do their jobs better. And it's long overdue. And what the proposal also says is that these workers deserve the right to form a union. And so I am working with our national union, SEIU, and the 700,000 home care workers across the country, as well as the national domestic workers and other allies, because women are not stepping back. It is our moment. We're going to get our home care funding, we're going to get child care funding, and we're going to get paid leave. Because again, it's a gut check moment for our country. And who are we going to choose to be?
In addition to those things, one of the other things that folks need, especially in the area of home care, is raising the minimum wage. You would be shocked at home if you knew that home care aides in some states are only paid minimum wage, which in some states is like $7, which taking care of your mother, that's not enough money by any means. So what do you say to the members of Congress who are up against or against raising the minimum wage? What's your message for them?
Well, I would ask them, and we all have a home care story, right? We all have a care story. We know of our mother, our uncle, our cousin, someone in our life has needed care, or you yourself will need care one day. What type of worker do you want caring for you? Do you want a worker who's scraping by on minimum wage, having to work 3 or more jobs just to make ends meet? Do you want that worker? Or do you want a worker who earns enough to work one job, who doesn't worry about how she's going to keep a roof over her head or clothe her children? Do you want a worker who's confident and has the training that she needs to take good care of you? They need to choose what type of worker they want to care for themselves and to take care of their family members. And I think it's a pretty easy choice.
I do too. April Verrett, thank you so much for being here tonight for this topic I care so much about. Please stay safe.